In this lesson, we're going to focus on availability in the cloud. A vital aspect of cloud computing is the ability to ensure accessibility to data and services whenever an end user needs to access them. To accomplish this, you should use availability zones and geo-redundancy, both of which are critical to ensuring high availability and resilience. First, let's discuss availability zones. In cloud computing, an availability zone, or an AZ, refers to a physically separate and isolated geographic location within the cloud provider's data center infrastructure. Each availability zone is designed to operate independently of the others and has its own redundant power and network connectivity to ensure that cloud services and applications running on one availability zone are not impacted by failures or disruptions in another. For instance, if Dion Training has a database running in one availability region, it can duplicate the database to another region so that if the first region encounters a breakdown or interruption, the database can continue running from the second region. Availability zones are critical components in cloud computing, as they provide organizations with the ability to run their services and applications with high availability and resilience, even in the event of failure and disruption. Cloud providers typically provide customers with the ability to choose which availability zones to use when deploying their resources so that they can control the geographic location of their data and optimize for network performance. For example, if you look at Amazon Web Services website, you can see their regions and availability zones. Each region is a different geographic location, but that isn't what we are referring to when we're talking about availability zones. Instead, we are talking about having multiple independent portions of their physical data center to provide redundancy. In each region, they have anywhere between 3 to 6 availability zones. For example, if I select the US East 2 region, which is located in Ohio inside of the United States, it shows that there are 3 availability zones, which are all called A, B, and C. As a company, I can choose to put my data in any region and in any zone within a region. So if I was based in Eastern United States, I would probably want to have most of my data in US East 2 so they have the least amount of latency when it comes to connecting to my cloud-based data, but I don't want it to all be in a single availability zone because if zone A goes down and all my data is in there, I would not be able to continue my business operations. So instead, we create data redundancy across 3 zones, A, B, and C, to ensure that if one zone goes down, our data is not inaccessible or lost. Second, we have geo-redundancy. Now, we just talked about how Amazon Web Services has multiple regions around the world, and each region has multiple availability zones. Well, if I wanted to ensure that our global staff could always reach our data with the fastest possible connection speed, then I would need to ensure that I'm using geo-redundancy to achieve that. Geo-redundancy refers to the process of creating multiple copies of data across different geographic regions to ensure that the data is available in the event of failure or outage in one location. Geo-redundancy can also be used to comply with data sovereignty regulations as it ensures that the data is stored in the appropriate geographic location. Again, by using geographic redundancy, companies can make sure that their data is always accessible and keep running in the event of something major going wrong. Geo-redundancy also refers to the use of a second geographic location to serve as a backup for data and services stored in the primary location. Now, this helps us have a disaster recovery strategy that helps organizations maintain operations in case of a disaster, such as a natural disaster, power outage, or data center failure impacting the primary location. Additionally, geo-redundancy can provide a better performance since your end users can be closer to the regional data center than your primary or main data center. Using our company at Dion Training, for example, again, we use the US East 2 region as our primary region, but we also have our data duplicated in other regions around the globe to better support our global user base of students as well as our international employees. The main goal of geo-redundancy is having a backup plan for vital services and apps so that if the main spot has a problem, the backup spot can step in without any trouble for the people using it. This helps minimize downtime and data loss and make sure the company can keep going even if something bad happens. Not only that, but using geo-redundancy across multiple regions for a wider global presence for your company, and this data will also give a performance boost for your end users and employees. If we consider Amazon Web Services again, you will notice that they have 30 regions and growing located around the world. Now, this includes multiple regions in some larger countries like United States, Canada, Australia, Japan, China, and many other regions located across Europe that you can select from when configuring where to access your cloud-based data and services. So, in summary, availability is a crucial aspect in cloud computing. Organizations can achieve high availability by utilizing availability zones and geo-redundancy. Availability zones provide a level of redundancy within a region, while geo-redundancy provides regional redundancy so that it can guarantee that data is accessible even in the case of failure or outage in a specific location or region. By utilizing availability zones and geo-redundancy, you can ensure that your organization's data and services are always accessible and that you can continue your operations even in the event of a major disaster or disruption.